Welcome to the Dragon's Library, your source for games, movies, shows, and more. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Dragon's Library. We are now broadcasting a episode behind due to our early release. Check us out on Buy Me a Coffee and donate to our channel in order to view our videos a week early and get access to our unique Discord. So, welcome back, guys. It's a pleasure to be back, and I hope you all enjoyed that little diversion of last episode with the reference section. It was definitely interesting for me, and I'm looking forward to doing more of them in the future. I feel like it really goes to the library kind of theme I'm doing. So, yeah. Today we're going to be talking about a web series called Helluva Boss. Now, I've only taken off the series for a while, but I haven't really felt like I've seen enough of it until now to talk about it. So, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, this series is a online animated web series whose episodes are about, 15, 20 minutes long. They are released by a creator who goes by the name of VivziePop, and she released a online pilot for something called Hazman Hotel a few years ago. Now, up until that point, I had mostly known her for a few animated music videos she did. She has this really smooth animation style that I always liked. And she released a pilot for a series called Helluva Boss, which was going to be a spin-off series of Hazman Hotel. Hazman Hotel is about redeeming the souls of sinners in hell and takes place in actual biblical hell. And Helluva Boss is just featuring a small business in hell run by a group of imps, like low-level demons, who run a real-world human assassination business called IMP, or Immediate Murder Professionals. Basically, they allow sinners to put out hits on humans in the real world that screwed them over when they were alive. So, before I get started on this video, I do have to do something. Now, most of the things I review are fairly family-friendly-ish, or at least adjacent. Like, you can watch these and not to worry too much about who's watching with you. That's not the case with this one, so I'm going to do this one thing, and I really hope I never do this again. Ahem. Warning. This is a show with swearing, lots of sexual innuendos, and tons of murder. If you do not feel comfortable listening to any of these things, you are invited to leave now. If you remain, do not complain. Okay, now that we've got all the liners out of the way, so let's go ahead. So the main characters of Helluva Boss are Moxie, Millie, Luna, and Blitzo. The O is silent now. Moxie is sort of a kind of nerdy gun expert. Millie is his really over-the-top, but really into him, badass wife. Luna is a just beyond teenage hellhound who is kind of like, their typical lazy teenage goth character. And Blitz is the over-the-top, eccentric, but really good at murdering things business leader that's always getting them into trouble. So the whole business basically started out, as we find out in the pilot, by Blitz sleeping around with a high-level demon called Solus, who, fun fact, is actually based on a demon of the Ars Goetia from the Lesser King of Solomon, Key of Solomon, which I find interesting that Vivzie is actually able to, draw from real-world demonology, which is always really cool when the writers take advantage of it, because there's just so much creativity in those old books. Davis nerding out is over here. But anyway, the story kicks off with a weird pilot with them arguing about, their commercial and how their business is failing. And Blitz, in exchange for regularly sleeping with Solus, Blitz gets access to a special book they're not supposed to have that allows them to enter the human world and kill people. They're not supposed to be seen and everything like that. So, they do the usual stuff. Hey, this teacher who was always good went on a murder spree after she was cheated on by her husband, but the person who he was cheating on with, managed to survive and is living this perfect life. Go kill him. Second one, Solus needs a bodyguard. Then it's, hey, this old person Blitz's past is causing trouble and stealing their only parking place. Now they're going to do this, like, demon challenge and try and kill more people than they can fuck in order to, in order to get their parking space back. Interesting things like that. And currently there have been the pilot and 6 episodes released at the moment. With the last one, Truth Seekers, being part of the reason I wanted to do this episode. So, all in all, the show is pretty good. Blitz, the voice acting is all great. Liv's actually got some really talented voice actors in for this. Let's see, what was it? He actually got Richard Steed Horvitz, who was in, like, multiple of the Power Rangers, and was the voice of Invader Zim. Yeah, the voice of Invader Zim is in this series, which is just so cool. All in all, my favorite character is probably a tie between Moxie, Luna, and Stolas. Luna, because she just does not give a shit about, like, anything they're doing, and is always just like, you mean the book? Hey, Luna, you got the book? You mean the book that's the only reason we're able to do all these jobs? Yeah, I got it right here. And I was like, oh, Luna, you're the best. Blitz is always doing, like, a doting father on her. And then Stolas, because at first Stolas is like a joke. He's like this really, really thirsty owl who's always calling Blitz to tell him how he, like, really can't wait for their next session, Blitzy. But then it's revealed, oh, right, this is a guy who's cheating on his wife with another guy, and apparently actually has a daughter. And in the second episode, they have this, like, emotional breakdown scene. Massive spoiler alert for the moment. Temporarily massive spoiler alert for episode 2. Because I gotta talk about Stolas. So he actually had a daughter, and she's like, the wife is, going ballistic. Like, how dare you sleep with this low-caste peasant? And meanwhile, their daughter is just, like, having a mental breakdown, what am I supposed to do? I don't know how to feel. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if you're gonna leave me. It's like, oh wow, he's like really rich and powerful, but he has like this completely broken family, and you actually feel really, really like you feel more bad for his daughter, to be honest, because what he's doing is still really irresponsible, but at the same time, he makes it clear that no matter what happens, she'll always be a part of his life. And it's like, wow, I did not expect so much emotional investment in these, like, cartoon characters that seem to use the F word, like the space bar, honestly. Yeah, that's one thing you do have to get used to with this show. Don't get me wrong, it can get really good and all, but it's set in hell, and they're demons, so expect a lot of vulgarity. I mean, literally, the 3rd episode, they run into a succubus, so, assume everything's around that level. Like, be prepared for a lot of curse words and a very large range of curse words, but mostly the F word. Which, I mean, I don't really mind, because at least it serves the setting to a certain extent. There are a lot of people who say it's, like, pointless vulgarity. I'm like, I can see where you're coming from on that. But I also think if it serves the purpose of characterization, and it does in at least one episode. For example, their swearing actually goes on really well when they meet this group of cherubs, and, they're, of course, like, squeaky clean and everything. So, as long as it serves the setting, like, if the cherubs had also been, like, cursing wildly, I've been like, wait, aren't they supposed to be angels? That's a little weird. But since most of the characters we see are either people who people in hell want dead, which is mostly other people who have screwed them over, or literal demons in hell, I don't mind that 90% of the cast drops F-bombs. Like, again, they drop, well, most other words, to be honest. Seriously, they say the F word a lot. So yeah. I don't really mind. It serves the setting. It's reasonable for these characters to act like this. It kind of adds to the ridiculousness of Blitz. And you also can kind of see it in the way that other demons talk. Like, unless Stolas is, like, getting really into it, he usually talks in this really reserved, kind of elite British kind of talk. Meanwhile, the others seem to curse a lot. He only does it when he's, like, really excited about the next session with Blitz and is, like, going overboard for the top. And yeah. Of course, Moxie is kind of like the straight man. He's the most likable of the cast, usually, on a moral basis, if you want to call it that. He doesn't like to kill unless they have to. Usually he's just going for the target. He's kind of clumsy, but still competent enough for us to like him. He's the resident gun expert. Meanwhile, his wife Millie is like the close combat powerhouse. Like, she just kills this giant monster fish at one point with like no effort. And she's like, oh, and she just like ripped its whole throat open. It's like, oh wow, so she's a badass. Meanwhile, Blitz acts like a complete idiot and usually ends up making things worse. But he is genuinely good at his job. Like, they regularly admit that he's actually really good with weapons. And when it comes to fighting and killing people, he's competent, surprisingly competent. Which is why he's doing it for a living, and how it's actually impressive that sort of low-level demon as him is actually managing to run such an impressive business in hell. Which is brought up a few times. He's even given the chance to betray Stolas in exchange for, maybe upping himself in the demon world. But he decides to stay by Stolas because he has this weird relationship going on with her, and he kind of has mutual self-hatred of everyone going around him. He constantly pushes people away, and Stolas is like one of the people he hasn't managed to push away yet, and oddly enough seems to like him just as much as, he usually acts like he might like other people. I don't know, he just has this really interesting emotional state going on right now that makes it clear he's been rejected a lot. Like, he used to work in a circus and all the kids hated his jokes. So eventually he was just, a random guy wandering around the circus because his act was so bad. And he gets told off by a robotic ripoff of an actually popular jester. This series gets weird. And it's beautiful. The thing you're gonna love most about this series, though, at least one of the things I love most about, is the animation. OMG. The animation is fantastic. This is, Pop. Like, don't get me wrong, it's very clear at points that it's like an independent studio. There are a few points where it doesn't sync up properly, a few points of, ooh, that's a little cheap. But there's almost always at least a scene in most of the episodes where it's like, oh, here's where all the effort went right here into this beautiful shot. And the latest episode 6, is just that on repeat. It is, like, don't get me wrong, there are a few connecting segments that aren't animated as completely amazingly as everything else, and it's a little noticeable, but oh my, the long, like, giant fight near the end, the two weird, trippy, like where Blitzo and Moxie are like getting high, while they're interrogated, and Blitz has like this weird 80s album cover kind of thing going on, and Moxie has this almost traditional Disney, musical number, and it's just this crazy trip. You really get the idea of, yeah, they're tripping balls. It's insane. It's beautiful. And then, oh my gosh, that final fight. And then when Stolas shows up, it's like, oh, you thought these idiots were what an actual demon look like, demon hunters? I apologize. Allow me to show you what a demon looks like. And, it's all the classic demon stuff. Things are flying off, footprints appearing out of nowhere. One of the two cartoonish Team Rocket style villains, starts looking into the distance and it's like, are you okay? And their head just like, turns around 180 degrees like, let me show you what a real demon looks like, demon hunter. And then Stolas comes out in like his full demon form as like this Lovecraftian abomination. And it is terrifying. And awesome. And 100% awesome. So yeah. That's currently the state. Lilith kind of wants him, not Lilith, what's Stolas' wife? She wants him dead. So we're gonna get some drama with that. We have, Millie and Moxie relationship. They meet their parents, or they go see them again. We get the feeling they met before and they don't exactly like him. We get some, Blitz actually, fun fact, Blitz actually adopted Luna, so we get a lot of his, overprotective dad from him. It's probably my least favorite relationship, like, most of the time. Don't get me wrong, he can be sweet. Like, in the 6th episode, he was actually this whole sweet thing where he's like, oh, Luna, I'm so proud of you, after she comes to save them with all these weapons, and it's like killing people left and right. He's like, oh, Luna, you're my favorite, I'm so proud of you. He's like, shut up. And she's like, she would blush, and he's like, she's a little proud that he's proud of her. It's just adorable. I love it. So, yeah. Do generally check this out. It's totally a series worth checking out, and you'll be supporting a great creator. In addition to that, eventually we're going to be able to see Hazmat Hotel, which is going to be out the Princess of Hell, Charlie, who's the son of Lucifer and Lilith, trying to reform souls to get them to go to heaven because hell's overpopulated. So that's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of musical numbers and optimism and a weird Lovecraftian abomination called Alistair. So, can't wait for that. If the remaining 2 episodes of Helluva Boss are any good, I might talk about them as a separate review later on. But for now, that's about it. Those of you who found this on our Discord channel, because you're a member, through Buy Me a Coffee, will be able to access this a week early. And any of you who are, thank you so much for your donation. As for the rest of you, thank you for watching, and see you later. I hope you enjoyed listening to this episode, and thank you for listening to the Dragon's Library. Please subscribe to this podcast to be notified of new episodes. The Dragon's Library releases new episodes Tuesday and Friday each week, and you can follow us on Twitter at dragon_library2. If you want to suggest an episode topic, my email is in the description below. And as always, thank you so much for all your support.